Welcome everyone to another episode of Beers and Bourbon with Dick and Brett. I'm Dick.
And I'm Brett.
Dude, this guy comes so strong with the I'm Brett.
I'm bringing it. I'm Brett. I'm
Dude.
Brett.
Holy shit, I love it. Welcome back everyone. As always, we're excited to be here. We got a pretty solid lineup again. We're gonna say that all the time because we're trying to bring fucking heat. So we got a beer and a bourbon. The beer is Deep Sea Decoy Double IPA with grapefruit from Abel Baker in Las Vegas, Nevada, and Melvin Brewing in Wyoming. And what's our bourbon, Brett?
A bourbon of the day for us here, Blanton's Gold, UK version, right?
Jeez.
So distilled in Kentucky and then produced to go to the UK and found its way back home in California. I'm excited to get into it, man. There's nothing prettier than the horse on top of the bottle, and then this one is just coated in gold, which makes it even sweeter.
It's pretty legit. I think the bottles by themselves are already badass, the original, but the fact that this one's gold,
Yeah.
I think it brings it to a whole new level. So
For sure. I'm super excited to get into that one. I'm actually really excited to try this beer too. Love collabs. When you take two special breweries in two really key points in the world that are putting out pretty good beers and they're recognizable, and then they come together to just put something together that we're able to try between the two of them is a really neat concept. So excited about that for sure.
agreed. I mean, this is a collab, right?
Right
That's
here.
the cool thing about it.
Uh-huh.
So let's get into the beer. We did a Melvin beer just recently, and we considered it, a dessert beer.
Gee, I put my stamp on that one. That one's fire. Damn, stamping fire.
It took him, to a very unique place.
At Gingerbread House.
No, it wasn't Gingerbread House.
No?
That one took you to not the suburb, but not the city. In
Oh,
between,
yeah,
where the
you're
weather
right.
sucked,
Right, where
but
the
the beer
weather
was great.
sucked, but the beer was great.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, get your shit together, bro.
I'm the worst lately. I can't remember my name.
I mean, it's Brett.
I know. Well, Brett it is.
Fucking A.
But
So, the nose? I'm not picking up a ton of grapefruit on the nose.
that's a funky ass nose.
It is. It's like a dishwater nose.
It kind of smells like a wet dog.
What kind of dog? Yeah, dog?
Maybe yeah, dog. Yeah, dog.
Yeah,
Okay, off the bat, it definitely has a funk.
Yeah, the nose is not, especially something that says it's got grapefruit added to it. Double
Yeah, I
IPA.
don't pick up any of that. It smells funky.
Well, okay, now
I bet you it might taste all right, but who knows? We're about to find out.
You ready?
I was really excited. Now I'm not sure,
Cheers.
but
I don't
let's
know.
get our mouth on it and see what happens. Okay.
The drink is definitely 1,000 times better than the nose.
Yeah,
The grapefruit is still subtle to me.
very subtle,
It's a tart at the end, is what I
very
get.
tart at the end. I always use the term crisp.
Yeah.
Pretty crisp, a little crispier than the normal crisp,
It's crispier than crisp.
It's crispier than crisp Kringle, okay?
Okay. Well, I
can taste a lot of things going on in my mouth right now, so I can understand the collaboration that's going on in this beer.
take the second sip.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Okay.
need to.
I get a lot more of that.
Whew, that nose is not good.
It's not good.
No, but the beer is not bad.
Yeah, and so, that for everyone out there, again, we're going to tell you what we think. But if you were drinking this beer right now, I don't think there's anyone out there that would say that this nose is inviting for a craft beer.
No.
Maybe for a homebrew beer, I'd be okay with it because it's not inviting. And if I created this at my house, I'm not going to be a production brewery. But the nose sucks. We're okay with saying that. I'm okay with saying that.
Yeah.
However, the flavor profile of the beer is rather inviting.
Mm-hmm.
It does give me that, I say tart, almost like that weird sweetness where you have a fruit that is a little too much, like a little puckering, like it's not overbearing, but it is that crisp tart that gives me that in my teeth. It gives me that feeling.
Yeah, I'm getting the double IPA. I'm getting the hoppiness. I'm getting the crisp. This one is up front.
Yeah.
Not super dynamic. I'm not pulling like other notes later. The finish is what I kind of get out of a standard double IPA beer. I want to be a big fan, but I don't know, man.
I would say this: the nose, absolutely not. If I could only, if it was a blind smell test,
no,
I'd pass.
Yeah, that'd be gone.
On the drink test, I will say I'm a little disappointed. I don't know much about Abel Baker, so I've gone to a few breweries in Nevada, in downtown, and Abel Baker was not one of them. But when I was there, they told me I needed to go to Abel Baker.
Yeah, so that's somebody that's saying, hey, look, there's an up-and-coming brewery or a brewery out here that's established that people go to sit down and drink beers. I know that they have some really good bocks from what I've heard, and they also have some other probably really good beers. I don't know if this collab's hitting the mark for me, man.
Yeah, and that's rare for us, right?
Yeah.
Most of the stuff that we've had,
I was excited, and I'm a little let down.
I mean, the can is pretty epic. I'm going to show you one more time. It's probably the third time.
The artwork on it is rad.
But look at the artwork and even on the back. So it says, we took this citrus forward double IPA, then heavily dosed it with grapefruit, resulting in a liquid gold treasure worthy of expedition.
You know what I want out of this beer? I want grapefruit, man.
Yeah, I think
I'm getting the tart from it. I'm getting the grapefruit aftermath, but I'm not getting the grapefruit flavor.
like that juiciness.
Yeah.
Right? I want to think about I'm biting into this summer grapefruit that just looks so amazing and juicy, and I just take a big ass bite of it.
Yeah, I'm not getting it.
Not getting that.
Not getting it. So I don't know what to tell you. I'm gonna finish this thing. I don't have a whole lot more to say. I'm gonna try it one more time. Let's give it one last round, because I don't want to leave on a bad note if there's something good to say, but I'm not feeling it.
So typically, this is when I hand it to Brett to tell for him to tell us where he takes it. I think I'm gonna tell you where it takes me this time. I think I'm gonna switch it up, and I'm gonna tell you why. This takes me back to the place where we fucking bought it and to give us a goddamn refund. That's what I want. That's what I want.
I was creating this place in my mind where, like, I was sitting around with a bunch of grungy,
Like metalhead dudes?
hipsters / metalhead dudes, and my cousin came over and he brought us some beer, and he was like, "Man, this is the best beer. You gotta try it, man. It's so good, man. You gotta rip this beer." And then I'd already been drinking craft beers for half the day, and I cracked this, and I just wanted to look him dead in the eye and tell him, "Hey, man, nah, like."
Would you do it though?
I don't know where you're drinking beer from, but this is not what I'm into, you know?
I feel like I would publicly shame this if somebody brought it.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be that dick. Like, I don't want to be that person that's like, my beer's better than you. But I got to be honest with you, if we were drinking Dictionary, which we did on the last episode, or that Huckleberry Haze, or the 28 Haze later from Beechwood, some of our core beers that we drink that we've fallen in love with, if someone brought this to me and they felt like they had the hype, I would probably say, you can keep all that shit, man. I'm good, brother. Thank you for bringing this, but next time bring something that's not subpar.
Yeah.
And that's fucked up because, like,
I like Melvin, man. I mean, they just gave us a banger on the last one.
Yeah, but so here's the thing, and here's something that I found out, and it was very disappointing. A lot of times collabs aren't really collabs. A lot of times collabs are somebody brews a beer and they put somebody else's name on it. And I kind of hope this is the case for Melvin, because I hold Melvin.
So, yeah.
I hold Melvin to a higher standard. But for everyone out there, look, I hope what you find out is we're going to tell you what you think. We're not just, I mean, we're going to put bangers on here. I mean, the Blanton's Gold, obviously, we're going to like.
What's the alcohol percentage on that? Sorry, just real quick. I know to me it won't really matter
It's
anymore.
8%.
But 8%. So you're getting booze from it. It's a below quality a double IPA to me.
I would
Don't say grapefruit if it don't taste like grapefruit.
Agreed.
You know?
Agreed. I think that's the biggest thing is when I read the description on the back, they walked me down this journey.
Yeah.
I was on the yellow brick road and I was
in the
going
fucking
down
ocean in my gear, and I was down at the bottom looking for the bomb ass treasure fish, you know, but I didn't find it. So
what'd you find?
I found a really bad nose. Like a human nose decomposing.
Yeah.
You know?
So all right, let's put it to bed.
That
so
was brutal. I'm sorry, guys,
Abel
but
Baker.
Let's be real.
Next time we're in Vegas, I think
try it before you sell it.
I think we owe a trip to Abel Baker next time to
Yeah.
really try their beers.
Yeah, we'll be in Vegas for sure in the next,
And you're definitely coming
couple
with
of years.
us.
And
A couple of years. You're talking about probably a couple of months.
I mean, Vegas is close to home for us,
Yeah.
so we'll go there. We'll check it out. We'll find the beers that work for them, and maybe we'll ask some questions and be able to provide some feedback in the comments on this particular post later down the line. And maybe we'll drop a little Instagram short or Twitter or something to give you an update to go check out what we revealed was the true answer between the collab between Melvin and Abel Baker here.
Yeah. So I guess census says we don't like it, and that's okay.
Yeah.
It's not our forte. If it's yours, that's okay.
Can't love everything you try, guys. That's okay. Honestly, it's worth a try because you don't know you don't like it until you try it.
And I know I don't fucking like it.
And you know you won't like it until you try it as well. So there's plenty of beers out there that I thought, I'm not going to like this. And bam, out of nowhere is a miracle.
Yeah.
This one was the opposite.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's sad, but you know what? That's part of this podcast. We're going to tell you what we actually think. We're not going to just script everything and tell you what you want to hear. But I am going to tell you I'm going to like this bourbon. I am.
Okay, so here we are, man. I'm looking straight at this bottle of Blanton's Gold. And we're at 103 proof, 51.5% alcohol. This is Rick number 4, barrel number 342. Dumped on 6/22/20, right?
Epic.
I want to get into it. Let's check it out.
Yeah, so a little bit of what Brett shared. So when he said, UK, Europe only. So prior to, I believe it was 2022, and correct us if we're wrong, but that's the first time I remember that the Straight from the Barrel or the Gold was released in the United States. Prior to that, it was released in Europe primarily, but I would assume it probably made it to China, Japan, etc. But it's
been moved around for
sure. It was
sure.
distilled here and then shipped there. That's why it's 700 milliliters. You can't tell the difference in the bottle if you put it to the regular bottle, but it is actually 50 milliliters, so a little puppy less. And that's just consistent with the European market.
And I bet you that also has to do with shipping. I'm in logistics, and anytime that you're shipping, I ship stuff. So if you ever need anything shipped, you let me know. I got you. I'm global, baby. I'm everywhere.
Yeah. So it's been a while since we had this bottle. To be honest with you, I can't remember the last time we drank it. It was probably one of the times when we had all the boys here and we were celebrating something. I think we did some pretty big dogs. We did this and Taylor Barrel Proof and some other stuff. I think we did George C. Stagg. So that night was a blur to say the least. But I can tell you right now, I'm not gonna not like it. However, I wanna go into it because I don't remember the flavor profile.
Yeah, it's been a while, right? So when you haven't tasted a bourbon in a long time and you've been tasting a lot of bourbons and you bounce back to something like this, which is your bottle that, honest to God's truth, unless it's a wedding or an anniversary or a special event, a
baby being born.
Yeah, a birth of your first child or your third child or your 10th child
or a 40th birthday or a big milestone.
That's right. Or you're just a big dog and you don't care and you can just get that stuff shipped to you every week.
That's not us.
That's not us. We tend to take care of the bottles that we're able to procure. This is a celebration bottle, right? So I want to celebrate the fact that we're on 6 episodes of Dick and Brett. This idea just came about maybe less than a year ago, and we didn't know whether it was going to happen or not, right?
I gotta cheers to that.
Okay.
That is a fucking epic point. I think we're really only 6-7 months out from. We were sitting here one night and we were talking about, fuck, you just drank it without me. We cheersed and then I put it down. Hold on.
Yeah, well, that's a cardinal sin if you ask me.
Fuck. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm back even now.
Okay.
So we were sitting here, I don't know, mark it 6-7 months ago. We can go back in the archives and figure out. But we were sitting here. Brett talked about our Friday nights, fun. We're playing this card game called 13. We got our boy Thomas. We got friends and family. We both have our kids here. They're all friends. That's how we met. We enjoy the Friday night. Got music, YouTube on the TV. Everyone's flowing liquor, whether it's wine, our buddy's wife wine, his wife wine, my wife Moscow Mule.
Yeah, this guy forces you to pick the bourbon you want to drink, forces you to pick the music you want to play next. And you know what? That's kind of a cool thing because that's being selfless. That's saying, hey, guess what? I'm not all about me. I'm all about everyone, right? I want you guys to go out there and choose what you like and listen to what you like. I'm just here for the good time, you know?
I'm blushing, man. I appreciate the kind words. I do feel like I like Brett opening bottles and I like him pouring me shit because in all reality, I don't feel bad about because I didn't pour it. So it's like if the bottle's cash, it wasn't me, it's Brett's fault.
Yeah. You can talk shit later.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day,
You made me do it.
Yeah, it was his fault. And like when my wife's like, "You cashed all those bottles," I'm like,
No, that was all Brett's
That was all
deal.
Brett.
Yeah.
No, but in all reality, I mean, that's what the cool thing about this is me and him are family. You know, we met only maybe 2 years ago, and we've gone to this whole new level in our family's relationship and that. But the cool part is we were sitting here one night and we were talking about, man, you know, I built this bar so we could have this community environment and we want to hang out. And the cool thing is a lot of times people do that and they don't use it. We're here 2-3 nights a week.
Easy.
So we're easy. Sometimes 4 or 5 nights a week.
Yeah.
So we're sitting here. The only difference was Brett was on the other side. I was sitting back here. We were drinking bourbon. Couldn't tell you what it was. And we were like, hey, you know what? The bar's coming out pretty legit. Feeling good about the vibe. What if we did what we were doing, but we filmed it?
Yeah.
And that was the seed. And then it's now transposed to less than a year. We have our brand, Dick and Brett Industries.
That's right.
Right? We have this podcast, beers_fucking bourbon with Dick and Brett.
And we're flying off the seat of our pants, folks. I mean, literally, we're going, I don't know, what's the next step? How do we edit something? How do we even drop a podcast?
How do we do shorts? How do we keep you guys engaged?
Do we need microphones and headsets? Do we need, do we need to put tape on the ground to make sure that our scene shows up every way? Do we need to measure where our glasses go?
Yeah.
I mean, all this is just straight developed out of nowhere, but we're having so much fun doing it. I highly suggest, with the amount of podcasts and content and social media that's been hitting the market lately, you can do this yourself at home, right? It's not that difficult. I mean, I'm looking right now at a TikTok making light that I bought my daughter for Christmas that she never used because she'll just stand and walk around with her phone anyway. And I'm staring at it right now, and this is what's helping us put this thing together. I mean, it's crazy. I'm having a blast. I'm super excited. I'm what you would consider rejuvenated, right? Because life gets a little bit repetitive after a while. And certainly, I got married. I had kids. I did it all. My kids are starting to grow up. They're a little bit older now. I'm trying to find things. I got 2 daughters. We talked about this before. We all got daughters. So there's a lot of estrogen going around. That tornado that I was talking about a long time. I needed a release, and this is the perfect way to do it. And I'm glad that you guys are here with us because I'm able to drink some bourbon, drink some beer, have some fun. We're staring at Blanton's Gold. Let's go. 6 episodes later.
Let's go back to that cheers again, man.
And
6
let's
episodes.
get back up into this bourbon again, right?
So the critical thing about, Blanton's, we were talking earlier before we got into this about a tater bottle. Talk to me about why Blanton's is tater.
Okay.
Because I think it's important.
I'm gonna break this down right here. I'm gonna talk about tater, right? Tater salad, you know, if you Larry the Cable Guy or whatever, right? Tater. So that's a term you'll hear us say in the future, and I just want to break down the term for people that are new to bourbon and don't quite understand what it means. There's a lot of meaning behind it, a lot of talk about it in bourbon communities, a lot of talk about it in bourbon clubs, a lot of talk about it around the nation, in the middle America, and around the Kentucky area, everywhere. A tater is a highly sought after bottle that is typically allocated, tends to lean towards your Buffalo Trace products, so your Blantons, your E.H. Taylors, your Elmer T. Lees, your what else is out there? Your
Weller.
Just straight Buffalo Trace, Weller, 100% Weller, right? Those bottles are the ones that people are chasing. So you'll see, like, if you start joining communities online, social communities and things like that about bourbon, you're starting to get excited about it. And you're like, man, you know, they're talking about this, they're talking about that. I don't know where to find that. Every store I go into, it's $300. They're telling me that they picked it up for $80 or they picked it up for $125. I'm not able to find it. I can't believe it. It's crazy. These are tater bottles, man. They're not hard. They're hard to come across. The Blanton's Gold is not a tater bottle. You're gonna pay to drink this, no matter what.
We're going reset.
Right? But if you're looking for a standard bottle of Blanton's, the price range is out of control right now. It could be anywhere from, you're picking it up from MSRP for right now, maybe $79.99 and above, all the way up to $300.
Oh, 100%.
Right? I mean, I've seen people say, hey, yeah, man, I found a couple bottles of Blanton's. I paid $2.25 each. And I was like, you did what? You know? Because it's good. And if you got the coin, go ahead. If that's what you want to do. It's hurting me because I want to pay $80 for a bottle. But hey, you know what? To each their own. It is what it is. Tater bottles are typically hard to come by, and they're getting, as soon as they land on that shelf, that store employee is either one posting that it just arrived, so 90 people are doing 90 miles an hour direct to one point, and they're picking up one at a time because usually they're limit ones. If they're not, they're getting a case or they're buying everything off the rack or the shelves. If they do hit a Costco or a Sam's Club, they're gone immediately. If they're hitting anywhere in your local areas, they're gone immediately. If they're on your allocated bottle lotteries for anywhere in the other states where liquor is controlled, those are immediately gone because they're by lottery. They'd send you a ticket saying, hey, you won, come and pick it up. They're gone. People are stacking this stuff up. Now the Gold's a little bit different because it's a higher price point and it's really good. It's a refined version of Blanton's, and Blanton's is a sought after bottle. Tater is the person, right? You're a tater if you're just always chasing these bottles. There's a lot of other bourbon out there that are in the same price points or even lower that are just as good quality, if not sometimes better. So branch out and open your horizons, and that's what we're here for, to talk about these bourbons, and so that you guys can get an idea of, man, maybe this one is pretty good, and instead I went to 5 shops, I couldn't find any Blantons. Well, the whole time you're at those 5 shops, there's 5 other bourbons sitting there on the counter for a great price point that are just as good and might even be better. Don't be a tater all the time. Keep the tater bottles when you find them in MSRP. Pay the price that you're willing to pay for them. They're fantastic bourbons, but there's other stuff out there, guys.
I think that's a hell of a description of tater. And everyone out there, I'm a victim.
I'm a victim too. I did it. I did it for a year.
I will tell you.
I went nuts trying to find bottles.
I agreed. Yeah. I think I have 16, 17 bottles of Blanton's between my entire collection, from store pick to regular to green, red, all the colors, right?
Yeah.
And what's interesting is I just finished my first bottle of single Blanton's and I had the Gold open.
Yeah.
And that's it. So I have 17 bottles.
There's some back here that are just waiting to find
and the thing is,
find a crack date.
It's not to really talk shit about it, but when I got into bourbon, it was the white whale. That's what I call it, right? Tater's, I think, a new version of it, and it's a connotation around. I think it's it's almost like you don't really know what you're chasing. You're chasing the fad. And I did, right? I didn't know what I was getting into when I got in there. And then it's funny, once I understood bourbon, I saw what we're talking about. Tater goes into a liquor store and says, hey, do you have that bourbon with the horse on it?
Yeah.
And I was like, that's Blanton's. And they're like, yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Like, hold on. What the fuck? Who goes in a liquor store and says, can you give me the one with the horse on it? They don't know that each bottle has a signature letter on it, and the letter spells Bland's, which is called the vertical. They don't know that it signifies a horse race, so it's right out of the gate all the way to stretch to the finish line. Mm-hmm. They don't know. All they heard was their buddy was like, hey, you got to get this bottle of Bland's. It's great. They don't even know it's a traditional, not a full rye bourbon, but it's the rye version of the mash bill with Buffalo Trace.
I'm a total victim of that. The first time I had a bottle of Bland's, you know what I did? I poured it for everybody in my house in a jacuzzi, and I got waxed off of it. Yeah. And I had a great time. And it was fun, and I loved it. And I was like, hey, I got to get another one of these. And I realized, wait a second, they're not as easy to come by as I thought they were, you know?
At that point, they were $70.
Yeah.
Now it's $149 in a bundle.
Yeah, a bundle. Yay, thanks bundles.
Yeah, we'll get into bundles on every episode. Every episode we're going to bitch about
a bundle is where they sell you a bottle that you want with a bunch of shit you don't want. That's a bundle, okay? In a small format description. So if you're ever wondering what a bundle is, it's the bottle you want with a bunch of shit you don't want for a price that is a little higher than you regularly want to pay.
Yeah, and think about it. See the bottles behind me? If I had bundles of all this, that means I'd have cases upon cases of Fireball and Wheatley vodka.
You might as well be your own liquor store. You could just be selling to everybody in the neighborhood.
Hey, you want some vodka?
All the wives and the campers with their 53-foot campers and stuff, you could stock the back and just pack up their entire, one of those big drawers you open up in the back of the campers, and it's all the way walk through. You could fill that shit with Wheatley, Fireball. What else could you fill it with? I mean,
I fill it with a lot of things.
And there's a lot of different bourbons out there that are considered bundle bourbons that you have to get rid of. Thank God that they're finally making some changes at Buffalo Trace with their distribution. And I think the effects of it so far we've seen is that they're pushing a lot of this stuff out. So if you have a chance to get out there and do some hunting right now, you might have the best chance of finding this stuff. And then in the near future, you might start to see more of these bottles on the market. They're growing. They're putting a lot more into it. They're going to put out a lot of these bottles that you guys are demanding and trying to find. They're good bourbons. They're great bourbons. They're ones you want to have in your collection and drink from. Bland's is a staple.
I agree. And we're not hating on Bland's. Trust me.
I don't hate on Bland's at all.
I'm happy that I have all the bottles.
This one's good.
I think the piece that we're trying to get is there was a nostalgia behind it and kind of this like, oh, you found it, you got one. There was a little bit of prestige that you found it. And then once we got it, we realized it's great. And I could talk a little bit about the story about it, but I don't know if we have enough time because we still need to get it next week. And what I realized is we didn't actually review the bourbon and tell them what we think of it. We got excited about what a tater is.
I mean, to honestly, if I had to review a Blanton's Gold, I'm just gonna say, look, you're drinking a Blanton's regular, just completely elevated. It's so refined. Blanton's just does a great job of taking a really good mash bill, a really good bourbon, something that is just consistent all the way through and always has been. And then with every different every different model that they come out with, like you said, the green, the straight from the barrel, the black, single barrel, the black, all of these are going to be from your $200 to $500, and then if you get into some of the really rare ones from Poland and Japan and
$2,000-$3,000
stuff like that, maybe a couple grand on those. I couldn't tell you if those ones are better than the other ones. They're definitely more rare and more limited, right? These are elevated. This Blanton's Gold is legit. It is refined down. It is a perfect sipping bourbon. I have nothing bad to say about it. It's not giving me anything I don't like about bourbon.
Here's what I would say. This is like
It smells good.
This is like the older brother of Bland's.
Yeah.
This is like the semi-barrel proof. So it's a little bit stronger. It's got a little bit more flavor to it. Bland's already has a modified rye mash bill, which is the traditional.
I feel like this is the one that he made after he dominated in a war, then came home and got a handy.
I'm not. If that's what he did,
I mean,
if he made Bland's gold after General B. Bland
yeah.
led the troops to win a war and came home and got a handy, well, fucking cheers to that.
That's how I feel. Like that's not the story. That's a makeup thing, but I feel like it's a celebration because after he got that, he went downstairs in his giant general's ballroom and had this huge party and brought all these barrels of this really good shit. And he was known for keeping the honey barrels for himself and his friends and bringing them downstairs and getting everyone lit on bourbon.
Yeah.
Right? All the chicks and all the dudes and all the people in his wars and all the people around him and his family. He would bring them all together in a big ballroom and he would just dump barrels of his private stash.
Yeah.
And I feel like this has a good reflection of something that he probably put out there for all these people, you know?
I agree. Like, Brett just dropped knowledge on everyone. So anyone who's referenced, the lineage of Buffalo Trace and Blanton. So General B. Bland, this is considered the first single barrel ever, like, to record, right? On paper, you described it. He had big parties. He knew in the Rick House, which Warehouse H, he knew exactly where he wanted it, right? Warehouse H was the only to date Buffalo Trace metal warehouse.
Yeah.
All the rest are wood, so it already had a different way of aging bourbon. It wasn't dependent on the seasons of humidity, cold, and the expansion contraction. He could control it better, but he was known to pull certain barrels that he considered the most mature
and the
honey barrels.
Yeah,
What's interesting is Bland's wasn't around when he was owning the distillery. Elmer T. Lee is actually the one that did this to commemorate him. So, I mean, I agree with it. Hats off to General B. Bland. Hopefully he got a handy. But I think we got to give a little bit of love to Elmer T. Lee because...
Hey, shout out to Elmer.
Hey, what's up, Elmer?
We love you, man.
What's up, Elmer?
What's up, Elmer T. Lee?
But, I mean, at the end of the day, I think Brett is spot on in the sense that there's not really much to criticize.
No.
The review is, it's a step above the normal.
It's an elevated Blanton,
and it lives up to the taste. Yeah. If you're going to have gold on anything on your bottle and you live and die by a handwritten, so the other ones are handwritten and then they're put on the bottle. This one is handwritten right onto the bottle of the age statement, the barrel number, the rick house, and the dump date, and the proof.
Yeah, it looks neat in your collection too. So if you can muster up the $350 to $500 to pick up a bottle,
$300.
Okay, I'm just saying it might be $500 someplace. Maybe you got to go to Fruit Bat, or maybe you got to go to.
You know what? When you start following us,
start
following us, and you really want to get into Bland's Gold, let me know. I'll fucking send you one. Let's go.
That's right. Okay. Yeah.
Let's go.
We'll take care of you. Okay. You know what I mean? Let's blow it up. We're gonna have some fun. We love you guys, man. We're so happy you're here. We're on our 6th episode now.
Yeah.
This one is hot to drop. We're having so much fun. It's just getting better, and it's gonna continue to get better. I mean, like, comment, share, subscribe, share with your friends. We say this every time at the end of our episode. It means so much to us. We are definitely going to start taking your guys' comments and putting them all down and starting to do some feedback. So you're going to see our episodes, they're going to evolve a little bit. I want to stick to the program for a while because this is what we've come to do, and had our friends and family watch this stuff and tell us what they think is best. And we're just doing what we think is best with their input. But now we want your input. We want everything you guys can give us, from bad to good to indifferent to, hey, you should check these guys out and do a little something more like them. We haven't traveled yet or given you guys any episodes besides this background of the bar, but we're definitely planning on doing that. Right now, we just had a lot of rain in Southern California, so in the garage, in the bar is the best place to be. But when the sun is shining, man,
we're gonna be at Brett's pool.
That's right. Let Bob Marley ride.
We're
sun is shining. The weather is sweet.
I love it. What you can count on going forward is We're going to continue to bring it in the way we think we bring it, and let us know. We're going to continue to evolve and take you on the road. On the road means a bunch of things. In the summer, it's a guarantee we're going to be at Brett's pool. We might take it to Havasu.
I'm down for Havasu.
We might take it to Havasu.
Havasu's a nice spot.
We might go to Vegas.
We'll do some clips of arriving in Havasu. We'll do some clips of what we do in Havasu. We'll do some clips, and then we'll drop an episode straight out of Havasu, Arizona.
Maybe in the channel.
Yeah, in the channel, right?
That'd be dope. And then the key is we're going to drop little tidbits of things. We want to keep the interest going, but let us know. You know, we've continued to tell you what we want, or like what we're going to do on next week. I think next week we're going to keep a surprise.
Yeah, this will be a surprise for everyone, right? So this is going to be what they call Fielder's Choice. You know?
Fielder's Choice.
That's right. Fielder's Choice episode next week. Stick with us. Keep having a good time. We love you guys. Thank you so much for being here.
Dick and Brett out.
That's right. Dick and Brett
out.